I got back home like about 10, like 9:30. Put my head down for a couple of seconds. Woke back up. It was like nine something. It was like 12 past 12. I was like, shit.
Yeah, like literally, I literally just walked in the door around like 12:45.
Something strange in neighborhood. I might start in about 5 minutes. I mean, the election is heating up right now.
I haven't even paid too close attention to it, to be real with you. I'm just waiting for it to be over with. I'm about done. If I see one more thing on YouTube or if I don't go crazy, it's getting on my last nerve.
Right.
In a minute, I'm about to opt for YouTube Premium. In a minute, all these
That's funny.
commercials. Yeah, with all these commercials, like man, first there used to be one commercial you there, and you gotta go through three or four of them just to skip. I'm like, uh, nope, I'm straight on that.
I be tired of like going to sleep and waking up in the middle of a fucking commercial. That's what I be tired of.
For real.
What up, Q? What up, Rashawn? So try. You saw that Young Joe interview in Breakfast Club a couple days ago?
Yeah, I saw a clip of that shit where Ti had to put his peoples in his place.
Yeah.
That was funny.
My man said slap the
That was
slap the shit.
not slap the shit out of him.
My thing is this: if you knew you were laughing at something early, you should just excuse yourself.
Right.
But,
Facts.
but that's always been like something like niggas be worrying about you laughing at something that recently just happened, but then somebody's telling a serious ass story and some shit.
Right.
I've had
Facts.
that shit happen to me. I've had that shit happen to me where I was like laughing at some bullshit, but then I wasn't laughing at a serious subject. It was just like, nigga, I'm just laughing because of some bullshit that happened. That was funny.
Mm-mm.
Them Barack
Yeah,
Obama's over
it
here.
was.
Black Obama trying to tell black men to vote for Kamala Harris and shit.
Oh Lord.
I'm like, I like Obama, but come on.
Mm,
Like,
okay, Mom. Let's calm down now.
He said what?
Mhm. Let's calm down, Obama. You know.
Obama, Kamala. All right, I'm about to start in about 1 more minute. You say you watching mystery movies? Okay. Them black and white detective noir movies and shit. Humphrey Bogart, detective nigga. Them,
Yeah.
Wow.
come on, Dollface.
James Cagney.
Oh Lord.
Where's the
Oh
money?
God.
Bro, them niggas used to be doing. Them niggas, you thought they were doing something with that, with them lines and shit. Come on, Dollface.
Right.
That's funny.
Come on, doll face.
Come on, pussycat.
Like,
God.
All right, well, I'm ready to start whenever you are.
Let's go.
bro.
All right, Dollface, let me stop. What's up, you two? What's up, you two? How y'all doing? This your boy Reg in the building. I got my homeboy Try in the building with me. How you doing?
So,
I got my homeboy Mike in the building with me. How you doing?
Good. Chilling, chilling, chilling.
Okay, okay. All right. We're gonna kick it off with Ghostbusters 2. We're gonna continue on that Ghostbusters month and everything like that
yeah, man.
too.
Yep.
Really can't wait to talk about this one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna say how we all got into the movie. I'm gonna start off with Mike this time.
All right.
Um, how I got into the movie is, you know, well, I love the first one. So, when I mean, of course, I was a youngin when the second one came out, but
Yeah.
I remember watching the second one, and you know, I'm not gonna hold you. I didn't like it as much as the first one, to be
Mm-hmm.
real with you, but it was still like it was still like a decent movie. You know what I'm saying? I mean, 1989 when that came out, you had like good you had slew of good movies, and then you had like a lot of like sequels and
Yeah.
stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this was like one of the better sequels of that year, if
Yeah.
if you get where I'm coming from. But yeah, you still had like the original cast basically, and and it was it was just one of those movies. Like I would rather watch this than the 2016 one. I did not like the 2016 one, to be real with you.
Right.
Um, but yeah, it's just the first two. I'm always gonna. Well, the first one's always gonna be my first love. The second one was pretty decent.
Mm.
So
Right.
You can go try.
So, you want? So we doing the review now for the movie?
We're gonna do a review for the movie and shit like that. I was just gonna say how we all got into the movie first and shit.
Well, I actually went to see the movie. I went to see it that summer in '89. That was the same year that Batman came out, and
Yes.
those two films were like my favorites of that summer. Going to see Batman finally with Michael Keaton and as Batman and Jack Nicholson as Joker, and then going to see this movie where the first one I had it on VHS. So this was like my first Ghostbusters film in theater, and that at that time for big releases like like how they do now, they had like the toy line was out, they had the t-shirts, the mugs, all that stuff. And I enjoyed it. It was great. This is like what, like maybe 5 years after the first one, and within the story, like the Ghostbusters, they were down and out. They didn't have no money. They were doing odd jobs, to make ends meet. And after the destruction of Goza, they tore up the city. You know what I'm saying? And I think the mayor, he didn't believe before, but he believed now. That there was some paranormal stuff going on, and Ghost, and there was other people that was skeptical and feeling like it was all a hoax, and the Ghostbusters was to blame for that, and they did that just for attention. You know, but you had between the first one and the second one, Dana had moved on from Peter, and she had a baby, Oscar, with somebody, but I don't think she and the baby daddy was together.
Of
And
course.
we never see that with white couples, right? Especially at
Right.
that
Well,
time,
yeah, we not never.
right?
No.
And I was just different. Like, oh, she's not with the baby's daddy, okay? And you know, it was she experienced some strange stuff going on with the kid in the beginning of the film, and she had to reluctantly she had to call the Ghostbusters again, and she and Peter they haven't spoken since the first movie. So there was like some tension there, but there was still like love for each other. So they had to go through that. We have a new I think she had a new job at the time also, and at her job there's like a haunted paint. What was she doing again? Like she was cleaning up paintings or something,
Something like that. Yeah.
like, or like restoring paintings, and they get this new painting with you know figure in the painting that's haunted, and he's really like a ancient warrior ghost, a Vigo. And the guy that played Vigo was also in the first Die Hard movie. He was like one of the terrorists.
Mm.
Forgot his real name, but he was like one of the first. He was one of the terrorists in the towers in the first Die Hard film. So he plays Vigo, and the guy that the Dana's boss, he uses him to be like to do his bidding while he's in the painting, and we see how that relationship unfolds with Vigo and Dana's boss, and you know it was a lot of things that was going on. I felt like they should have really did a little backstory and show us between part one and part two, in those 5 years what was happening.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
They only referenced certain things, but we didn't get to see. Look, I mean, because when the movie starts off, it starts off 5 years later. You know what I'm saying? But the guys were closer than ever. After what happened in the first film, and they had Ray. He had his bookstore, and Egon was working on like like his new gadgets and stuff, and you know you still had Janine and I forgot Rick Moranis' character name. They just had a thing for each other, and I just thought it was well written. I think they took their time with it. They didn't rush to do a sequel. Like a lot of sequels now they rush to do a part two or
Like
part three,
like Joker too.
like John Wick. I think John Wick is severely overrated. I like the first one, and that's it. I don't like none of the other sequels for it. But they rushed
Oh,
to
wow.
put out all those John Wick films. Joker 2, right? Like Joker 2. Joker 2, they could have waited, or at least not making a musical. I don't see how DC thought that was gonna work. You know, but with this, like they waited. They got all this success, and how the first film, changed pop culture and all that, and they came out with a sequel, and I think it was a good film. I think it was a good sequel to the first one. I know people now say that they didn't like it. We didn't hear that back then. In '89, when this came out, everybody was giving it praise. I didn't hear no bad reviews for this movie. It's only like now in this era I hear about, oh, people didn't care for the sequel, and I'm like, well, if you rank all the Ghostbuster films between the first one and the last one, this is definitely better than the latter ones to me. You know what I'm saying? Like that last one that we're gonna talk about, I didn't care for that one. I don't think that was a great sequel. And they waited 30 something years for to do those latter sequels. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? This came out like 5 years after the first one. And I thought it was a good sequel. I'm like, this is way better than the other sequels that came out. You know, so if people don't like
And
this one, they definitely ain't gonna like the other ones. You know,
I still got to
and
see.
huh?
I still got to see Frozen.
Yeah. I didn't really care for it, but we'll talk about that. But there's issues with that film that I felt like, well, if you don't like part two, you definitely ain't don't like Frozen Empire. That was way worse than part two. You know what I'm saying? And I just thought, the way that we see Dana's baby is really like at the head of the story. Like, Vigo has to use Dana's baby, for a new body on New Year's, and he tries to go through with his plan, but of course the Ghostbusters find a way to stop him. I would have loved to see more scenes with Vigo. They waited till the end so that we can have that showdown with Vigo and the Ghostbusters. But all through the movie, he was doing certain things like the the slime, the river slime. That was all Vigo. You
Right,
know, having giving Giannis. I think that was the thing. That was in his boss, Giannis, giving Giannis like supernatural powers to even kidnap Dana's baby and bring him back to Vigo. You know, and mind you, he was dressed as a nanny, a flying nanny, and came by the window and had the baby walk on the edge of the building just so he could pick him up, snatch him, and go with him. So little things like that. When the scene with Ray, Winston, and Egon, and Ray is in the abandoned station, the train station, and you hear like ghost voices, and the ghost train that went through Winston. That was all Vigo doing that. So we seen him do things throughout the movie. I just wanted to see him actually come out of the painting, a lot earlier in the film than just like the last maybe 10 minutes of the film.
right,
You know what I'm saying? I think we needed more. We needed to see him more. You know what I'm saying? Like we
right.
heard the scene where when Ray and Egon, when they're back at the house, the firehouse, and they're looking at the pictures that Ray took of the portrait, and he sees Vigo living in the portrait, and then when he's telling Egon, he know who that is. The minute he's telling them that, the door locked shut on them, and then all the pictures go up in flames. That was Vigo doing that. You know what I'm saying? So we knew that he was like the big bad villain, and he had supernatural powers, but I wanted to see him more, come out of the painting more and wreak havoc on New York City, and we didn't get that. See, at least with the first film, we got that with Goza, so we knew it was Goza and the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, so we got to see them wreak havoc. With this one, we had to wait till like the last 10 minutes to see that showdown with Vigo and the Ghostbusters. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
other than that, I think it was a good film, and you had your scenes, your love scenes with like Peter and Dana, and the Ghostbusters have to go to the mayor. The mayor's assistant. He wanted to throw them in the nut house because he felt like it was all their fault of what happened from the first film, and they basically pleading to the mayor like, yo, like, out there in those New York streets, people are crazy. There's a lot of shit going on. The mayor is not buying it. He's basically like, what do you want me to do? You want me to tell everybody in New York City that they got to be nice to each other? So they basically went to him and like, yo, the slime that we found, underground, it turns people angry, and they got to get rid of it. And they try to throw the Ghostbusters in another house, and all this shit is going on. You know what I'm saying? But I thought it was a good film. I think so. I think it's the best sequel for the original film. And then even having Bobby Brown in a cameo, and he had like the hottest song on the soundtrack was great.
Mm.
I didn't expect to see him in the film at all, and it was just great that we got a chance to see him. And yeah, I think it was a good sequel.
Definitely. Um, so I'm gonna be real. So of course I was not alive when the movie originally came out, but I do remember seeing the movie a lot growing up. And then like, I haven't really seen the whole movie in years, but I'm aware of like the legacy of it.
Mhm.
I've always preferred Ghostbusters 2 over the original. See,
Mhm.
I go back and forth
Right.
because part of me want to say it's just as good as the first one. Part of me want to say it's not as raunchy as the first one because I feel like
Right.
franchise being more popular. And if she try, I need to get that jacket. I'm sorry, I need to get that fucking
Oh,
jacket.
the
Yeah, I
shirt.
know, right?
Shirt.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm just envying that fucking jacket right
Right,
now.
It,
Like
it's
same.
a shirt. It's a shirt. It's a
shirt,
t-shirt.
jacket, I don't
No,
give a fuck. I want.
it looks like the actual Ghostbusters jumpsuit, but it's a t-shirt.
Oh, that, yeah.
Yeah. I
I
got
want
this
that.
from 80stees.com. Shout out to 80stees.com. They got all pop culture
Wow.
t-shirts from movie. If you want movie shirts, cartoons, wrestling, music, they got it. So shout out to them.
So they have
Um
they have like a
huh?
taxi stuff too. They have taxi
They
stuff.
might, they might, they
Yeah.
might. And you know what's crazy? If they don't have it, or you can recommend it and they'll make it. So
Oh,
if they don't
wow.
have no taxi stuff, I'm pretty sure they'll have it for you.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Yeah.
What about cheer stuff? If it's 80s
I
and
think
shit.
I think they got the Cheers shirt, like the one with the lettering, the Cheers lettering.
Oh,
I think they got
wow.
that. Yeah.
So they have different world stuff too, like some Dwayne
Hmm.
Wayne kind of shit.
Yep.
Okay, send me the website. I'm check it out.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
got
that's
the
what's up.
Instagram page too.
By the way, Mike, I want to respond to your vocal message and shit like that. I was just out all afternoon, but I didn't forget about you. Just letting you know.
Yeah, the vocal message. Yeah, don't worry. Yeah, don't worry about it, cause yeah, don't worry about it.
Okay, I'm still gonna listen to it anyway, but still, if I got
Okay,
to.
yeah.
Yeah,
Ye-
but Ghostbusters. Oh, go. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, but I mean, Ghostbusters 2, I feel like is definitely one of the best sequels ever. Like better than a lot of other overrated sequels these days and shit. You know what I'm saying? And I do feel that I feel like anything that came after like the 2016 reboot, Afterlife, Frozen. Well, I haven't seen Frozen yet, but still. But yeah, man. I mean, I I perfectly prefer. See, that's the thing. See, that's the thing because Ghostbusters 2, I like it. I love it, but it's not. I feel like it don't touch the original, but I feel like it's not
Right.
as raunchy as the original.
I agree.
Because a lot of kids was liking the show. A lot
Right.
of kids was liking the show or the franchise now, so they have to like attend to that shit. Like I compare Ghostbusters 2 to Terminator 2, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Because you said what?
But
He said, "Oh,
I
wow."
feel like T2 to me was better than the first one actually though.
I
Really?
think I
Yeah.
agree.
I feel like
Yes,
T2
I
was better.
strongly agree.
See, like Terminator, like from what I was told, Terminator, the original one was supposed to be like a sci-fi horror,
Yeah.
and T2 was like that was like the action film. So it was two very different films, but I feel like it was the action scenes and the cast was better in part two than part one.
See, I don't know. I have to rewatch the Terminator series though, because first Terminator was more darker and grittier.
Right.
T
Yeah,
two T2 had like a futuristic kind of style that people was not really fully using until like the later 2000s, later 90s, the
Right.
Y2K movies.
Hmm. Yeah.
yeah. Terminator, the original Terminator, that was a nice introduction
Yeah.
to like the Terminator. I mean, it was a good cast too. Linda Hamilton, Michael Biehn.
Mhm.
The second one, for some reason, the second one was way better as far as the facts, the story.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
The
And then,
score,
yeah,
everything like Edward Furlong. That's his best film, and I've seen Edward Furlong in shit like that. That Crow
yeah.
sequel was terrible that he did.
Which
It
one?
was The Crow. I think it was like part
Oh, that
four.
was
He did
Oh,
trash.
oh
It's
God.
Trash.
terrible. Yeah, and he was like already like overweight. I'm like, he's not the Crow. Come on, you
Yeah,
Hmm.
know. And Linda Hamilton came back, and she was more athletic in that one, and Arnold was in his bag. Like that's the best one clearly. Like Terminator Part One was great, but I think T2 was better. I think T2 is the best one in that franchise.
Oh,
What
not Kids in the Hall. Oh shit.
Yeah, they
what
got
do
all
you
that.
what do you think of the what do you think of the other ones?
T3, Rise of the Machines. I like the story. I don't like that they have to recast John Connor and Sarah Connor because both Edward Furlong and Linda Hamilton never came back. But they
Right.
had Arnold. They had Arnold. So that was
Yeah.
it was still decent, but it could have been so much better if Linda and Edward Furlong came back.
Right.
The other sequels, Genesis and I don't like none of those. Salvation, I don't like none of those other sequels.
No. I
Cause
felt
they,
like they
they
should.
kept like changing the timeline, and there was like another, let's reboot the franchise, and we're gonna do it with Kristen Bale this time. And well, we know Kristen Bale from another reboot franchise, Batman. You know what I'm
No.
saying? So he was like
Yeah.
the reboot king, or like we're gonna cast Kristen Bale to restart Batman and then restart Terminator, and
Yeah.
that was supposed to be a trilogy, and it never turned out to be a trilogy.
I'm
They had
glad.
Genesis, and then like Genesis, all of those sequels are trash. I don't like none of those other sequels.
Yeah. Me personally, I love the first. I love the first two.
Yeah, first two for me, and I went to see the first two. That was another franchise where like act like seeing Terminator in on the big screen is like it's unreal.
Yeah.
Part three I saw on cable, but like I said, like part three could have been better if they had just kept the same cast. I think I want to say James Cameron had left also, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
So they didn't have the director, they didn't have Sarah Connor or John Connor. They just brought back Arnold and thought it was gonna make a lot of money.
Kind of
Yeah.
like the
I'm glad.
Blade movies and
These are
shit.
kind of great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. I mean, so if you was to rank the movies and everything like that, to how would y'all rank it? Cause I feel like y'all told y'all favorite
For
scenes already and
Ghostbusters?
shit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one and two, and then it's everything else. Like I don't want to spoil the other reviews that we do, but um, I did not like Frozen Empire. I just thought it could have been better. There wasn't a lot of action. It was too much dialogue. It was side stories in that wasn't needed. Like the girl that was a ghost, she wasn't needed for that. Um, I know Reg ain't see it yet, so I want Reg to actually watch it. 'Cause I'm like spoiling shit, but yeah, I wasn't impressed with the last one, but I did like Afterlife. I thought Afterlife was a good sequel, and it paid a good homage to Harold Ramis as Egon.
Hmm.
I know people they had issues with that because it wasn't set in New York, but I mean, does it necessarily have to be set in New York City for it to be a Ghostbusters film?
No, not
Mm,
necessarily.
You know what I'm
good
saying?
question.
Because I mean, if you look at Beverly Hills Cop, like what was something that always happened in the beginning of the film? Axel Foley was always back in Detroit, and then he had to go out to Beverly Hills. So
Hmm.
if we had like a full Beverly Hills Cop movie in Detroit, would it still be good, or does he have to be out in Beverly Hills?
At least make an attempt at. Don't
Right,
just half-ass it. That's all I
right.
can say.
So
Right.
that was like the big drawback for Afterlife. Well, they were like in a farm town, a small town instead of the big city. But I thought the story was strong, and it was a good sequel.
Mm.
After like 30 something years, and they didn't know if they was gonna do a sequel or not.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, man. I mean, let me see something. I want to see if I'm forgetting to say anything. And it's crazy 'cause like you said, I think you said this movie got pushed back a few times because they had David Putnam become chairman of Columbia Pictures and stuff like that, and he didn't want to do like an expensive sequel.
Mhm.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? That's interesting.
Was that for part two or like the recent one?
Parts the Ghostbusters too.
Oh, part two. Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of the cast and crew had disputes over what the movie should be like and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So interesting. And even the critics at the time said that this movie killed the franchise. That's wild.
That's what I don't understand. I'm like, well, if y'all didn't like this, then how do y'all feel about the other sequels then? Because I don't feel like the latter sequels are better than this one,
Me neither.
you know? And you had to get to the latter sequels, you gotta get to this one. Because they all take place after part two. You know what I'm saying? So I felt like it was a strong story and I just wanted to see more Vigo out of the painting and actually
Hmm.
like going around the city and with his powers, and we didn't get to see that. You know,
That would have made a movie much
yeah,
better.
yeah, that would have been it would have made his him as a villain more stronger to me because it's like you don't get to see it, what type of power he had until like the last 10 minutes when he actually got out of the painting, right?
Right.
But if he had got out of the painting like early in the film and he was doing certain things around the city, I think it would have been he would have been a stronger villain.
Yeah.
Mm. Okay. So you want to talk about the soundtrack right now?
I think how we what are we giving this the sequel? Are we giving it like five? What like on a scale of like 1 to 5 or whatever?
Yeah, 1 to 5.
I'm gonna give it a 4.5. Um, I really enjoyed this. I've watched this film so many times. You know, it never gets old. Just like the first one. Like the first one is like it's timeless to me. You know, and um, to me, I think as far as like who had the strongest performance, I actually enjoyed I enjoyed Peter, but that's I think because they focused really more on Peter and Dana's relationship
Hmm.
and how they they were madly in love at the end of part one, after he helped her defeat Gozer, and it's 5 years later, and they didn't speak, and she had moved on and had a kid with somebody else, and I think he was hurt by that, but they rekindled their love and went out to dinner and spent time together, and all this stuff was going on while there's a supernatural warrior in a painting, and they didn't know about all that was going on, but they're rekindling their love while all this stuff is going on, and he needs Dana's baby to have a rebirth, and I think that I like that story between Peter and Dana, and I think they were like the main characters of the film, you know what I'm saying, and Giannis, the guy that played Giannis, he was good too, and I know he's been on like different shows and movies and stuff, and you know I just think it was a good film. I just you know if we nitpicking, is only like maybe one or two things that I mentioned, but other than that, the special effects were great. I love the fact that they even gave them like new jumpsuits to wear. You know,
Yeah.
Hmm.
film and they brought back Slimer. We didn't see a lot of Slimer in this one compared to the first one. It wasn't a
Right.
lot of Slimer in this one. There was one part where he was like driving a city bus at Christmas time, which was funny. You know, that's when Lewis had he had went to save the guards because when they were caught in that library or whatever, not a library, it was like a library or something or a museum or something, and he had actually put on an extra jumpsuit and the proton pack, and he jumped on the city bus that Slimer was driving to go help the guys, and that was a funny moment. And um, they brought everybody back. I just thought it was a good film, and I'm gonna give it 4.5. The movie score was good. It's set in New York City, so you be getting to see like old New York City at that time in the '80s, and it was just a fun sequel. Somebody, I think Dartmouth said it, is it scarier than part one? I think part one was scarier as far as like the special effects for this ghost. I think part one was a lot. It had like that scare factor for the special effects, but the special effects were good in part two as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what about you, Mike?
Um, I'm gonna give it a 3.5, and only because my gripe, we didn't get to see much of the villain, and I wish it was a little bit more grittier. The first one was grittier.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? If we got to see more of the villain, I think it would have turned out to be a better movie. But the visual effects, the acting, the story was still good. You know what I'm saying? And it is definitely a good sequel. You know what I'm saying? And like I was saying earlier, '89 had like so many sequels and
mhm.
all that stuff. I think this was one of the better sequels. Um, it, you know, I like I said, I'd rather watch this over the 2016, Ghostbusters, and I did see Afterlife. I thought Afterlife was good,
Mm,
and I kind of even Afterlife I kind of had my gripe with, but Further Than Empire I haven't seen that one yet.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So definitely a 3.5. I do want to revisit it again. Maybe, if my rating might go up, maybe, you
yeah,
know what I'm saying? But yeah, as of right now, I give it a 3.5. It's still a good movie. I enjoyed it. But the first one's always going to be you
yeah,
know, my love, you know what I'm saying? It's always gonna be, top 250, movies of all time, on my list. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I definitely give this one, thumbs up.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this a 4.5 too.
okay,
You know what I'm saying? I definitely feel like you guys made valid points. I personally feel like I guess it's a 4.5 for me because I want it to be a bit more raunchier, but I still
right,
feel like it still had that right balance to it. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm.
I'll give it a 4.5.
all right,
I'm gonna get going, guys.
all right,
Cut this short, but
no doubt. Thanks, Mike.
I
All right, peace.
all right,
Peace.
peace out. Talk to y'all later.
All right.
Later.
Alrighty. So now we're gonna talk about this soundtrack.
Yes.
You got the soundtrack or no?
Yes. Shout out to Eric. Eric sent me this.
Okay, you do. Okay. Ooh.
Yes, the
Yeah.
long
Shout out.
box. The long box. Remember this shit?
Yep.
I don't even think they still had long boxes when you were born.
Nah, they discontinued that.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know where the fuck Eric got this from, like overseas, because they don't make this shit no more.
Hmm. All right. So that soundtrack came out June 12th, 1989 on MCA Records.
Yep.
They came out with two singles, On Our Own and a title track.
Yep.
Um, Performers include Bobby Brown, New Edition, JT from the Cooling Gang, Dougie Fresh and the Get Fresh Crew, Run DMC, Boingo, Elton John, Glenn Fry, and Howard Huntsberry. Alright, so you got the sound, you got the long box right there. You're showing it off. That's pretty dope.
Yes. See, and they got the new suits that for part two they didn't have in part one.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I always love that cover for the soundtrack. I'm not gonna hold you.
Oh yeah, I had this on cassette back in the day, so I never had it on CD until like I think last year I got it from Eric. No, not a
Lucky.
VHS. This is what CDs actually were sold in. It was sold in a long box at the record store back in the day, and then I want to say like 94, 95 they discontinued it, so they only sold the CDs like out of the box.
Right.
But they still if you can find it online, there's still people that have the long box like they sell it like this.
Okay. All right, man. I'll probably have to go to Discogs or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I've seen like hip hop collectors. They have the long box for like a lot of albums. Like I've seen somebody post a long box for Derelict to Dialect
Oh wow.
and MC Search, his first album, Return of the Product, that was in long box form. EPMD, like a lot of the albums from like '92 was still being sold in long box. Now, this is what the actual CD looks like from out of the box.
Sweet. I need to get me some long boxes.
Yeah.
All right. So this soundtrack has 10 songs. And we're gonna start off with the first song, On Our Own, featuring Bobby Brown. This was produced by L.A. Reid and Babyface. This is actually my favorite song from the soundtrack, and also my favorite Bobby Brown song. Period. You know what I'm saying? This one is just a feel good jam right here. You know what I'm saying? Just definitely fit the movie. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the chorus. I mean, well, I guess we're gonna have to take control. Oh no, if
That
we
high note,
got
that high note
to
was everything.
that he
You know what I
killed
mean?
that high note right.
Crazy,
Remember when he did this in the VMAs and he dropped the cocaine vial and shit like that? You know what I'm saying?
right? They still talk
That
about
was
that.
infamous.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, man. This
you
is
know,
definitely my favorite Bobby Brown joint. I love the video to this song too. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yes. And that was shot in New York City as well. In Times Square and all that. And some of the buildings are a little bit different now compared to back then in '89, but still New York City. And Babyface gave him a great track. It don't even sound like a baby. I thought it was Teddy Riley. It's actually Babyface that did that for him. And I love the background vocals, the beat, the way Bobby sang it. Just that was the theme song for this movie. Like they actually played it in the movie. They played it during the end credits, and it's a classic record.
Definitely. All right. Speaking of Bobby Brown, the next song is Supernatural from New Edition. This one was produced by Jellybean Johnson of all people and
Okay.
stuff like that, which I don't think they've ever worked with New Edition like that. You know what I'm saying? This one was pretty cool. I didn't really
Yeah.
mind this one. You know what I'm saying? It definitely has like a. I definitely love the usage of the Benny King song "Supernatural" thing. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? I love these like interplanetary. Oh, extraordinary. Your love,
Yeah.
supernat. Let me tell you, that song right there. Ooh, classic. I don't know nothing about that joint. I love Ralph definitely did his thing on this one right here
Yeah.
too. You got everybody in the chorus and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So this was hot.
Yeah. This was
Your
a dope
love.
New Edition song, and it's ironic how they have Bobby to start it, and then New Edition is former group. With the second song, and they didn't reunite just yet. So they was still on the outs. This is like after a year after Any Heartbreak comes out. So this is not they didn't reconcile until the BBD remix album. That was done in the 90s
BBD.
when they did Words to the Mother. That's when they actually officially got back together. Yeah, BBD New Edition. So this is like a year before they actually got back together. But it was good. It was and New Edition has been on a lot of different soundtracks over the years, and I like this one.
Definitely. Next song is "The Promised Land" featuring JT Taylor, which is JT from Cool in the Gang. Um, this one was actually okay. I'm not gonna hold you. I didn't care for the beat. I'm gonna be real. I didn't care for that beat
Mhm.
and shit like that. I felt like
Yeah,
that beat was a bit too safe. And this was co-written by Bobby Caldwell. Of, what you won't do, that nigga, and stuff like that
right.
too. You know what I'm saying? Um, I mean, it was okay. I mean, JT's always been a quiet taste for me. So
I didn't like it, and I love JT with Cool in the Gang. I didn't like this song though. If anything, Bobby Caldwell should have sang it. It would have been better.
yeah, because this was also on JT's album "Master of the Game" that came out in '89,
Yeah,
which I never
I
heard
remember.
that one. Yeah. All right. Next song is called "We're Back," which is by Brown again. Um, this one was cool. Of course, I didn't like it as much as "On Our Own," but it was pretty
Right.
dope. It was pretty decent.
I love this one actually, and they played this too in the end credits of the film, and I like the beat, and this Bobby he was like the hottest thing in R&B at this time. So anything he was coming out with was going platinum, and I
Right.
enjoyed it.
Right. All right. Next joint, "Spirit," featuring Dougie Fresh and the Get Fresh crew. Yo, this joint right here is so fucking dope as fuck. Um,
Yes.
what I liked about this track was the fact that he spent like the earlier portion of the song talking about the movie, but then
Hmm.
the last verse, you know what I'm saying? He pretty much kicked some conscious shit, and that's one of my favorite Dougie Fresh verses. That's the thing about Dougie Fresh, like
Hmm.
everyone knows him for his beatboxing, his MC, like getting the party started, but when he drops a good rhyme and shit like that, I mean, he has some bars too. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Especially like the '88 album, which I fucking the world's greatest entertainer album, which we gotta talk about that album very soon. That's a
Hmm.
classic album. I don't give a damn what no one says. But
Definitely.
he had a line where he
Definitely.
said,
Yes.
"From people who aren't sequel to us, but for them to lock down on us is a must. Situation, brainwash, education. Here's a seed, so let's plant a foundation of newborn leaders and law book readers, career coordinators, and poverty feeders." Ooh, you know what I'm saying? So this is definitely a very hot
Hmm.
joint, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Which yeah, very classic joint.
Oh yeah, and he I love the chorus spirit. Some people hear it, some people fear it. Spirit. Some people just won't go near it. Love the chorus. He's beatboxing as well on that. Like you said, like he stayed within the theme of the movie and talking about Vigo going after Dana's baby, and the beat was fire. This definitely one of my favorites. They also played that in the end credits of the movie too. So
Right. Next song is Ghostbusters with Run DMC. I remember when I first heard this song, I didn't really care for it too much. You know what
right.
I'm saying? And I know Ray Parker said he wanted to do a new version of the Ghostbusters theme. So
Hmm.
he had originally they wanted Bobby Brown to do the theme for the Ghostbusters movie, but then they got Run DMC who did their own version of the Ghostbusters and
Right.
stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But Bobby he ended up, of course, being doing a cameo for the movie, of course. But
Hmm.
I mean, this song right here, it's not even one of my favorite Run DMC songs, but I do feel like it's a notable. How can I put this? How can I put this? it definitely is right for the time and shit. Because this was
Right.
that weird era between Tougher Than Leather and Back from Hell and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
it's alright.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was like the hip hop version of Who You Gonna Call. You know what I'm saying? And um, you know, Run DMC at that time, it's like, yo, they had a Christmas song that was fire. So why not a Ghostbusters
Right.
song? And they played that in the movie. And I thought it was a banging track, and you know, they were great.
Definitely. Alright. Next song's called L- Flesh and Blood from Oingo Boingo. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
Oingo
I
Boingo,
don't know. Huh?
Oingo Boingo. That's how you say it.
That's how you say
Yeah,
Ongo Bon
Oingo Boingo.
Ongo Boingo.
Oingo Oingo Boingo. That's how you say. Oh,
Ongo, that's what I said. Oingo Boingo. Anyway, yeah, I didn't care for this song to be real with you. I did not care for
yeah.
this one.
Uh, no, I didn't like this.
Oingo Boingo Boingo. What kind of name? What kind of name is that? Oingo Boingo. Uh, Next song is "Love Is a Cannibal" featuring Elton John. This one was pretty cool too.
Yeah,
You know, it's not only one of my favorite Elton songs.
right.
The '80s Elton John is kind of hit or miss for me. You know,
Yeah, I
but
agree.
it's
It was
alright.
cool. You know, they had a big name um artist like Elton John on here. It was a nice song. It's not one of his best, but I liked it.
Right. Alright. Next song is called "Flip City" featuring Glenn Fry. I've never really been a big Glenn Fry fan. His solo shit, I've never really been a big fan of, to be real with you. So I kind of
Right.
skipped this one.
Oh man, you didn't like what's that big hit he had in the 80s? I forgot the name of that shit. Um, the drink from Miami Vice, Smuggler's Blues. You didn't like that?
I have to be in the right mood for that song.
Yeah. And the Heat is on. Heat is on was a huge hit.
I didn't like that song.
You didn't like that?
Nah.
You belong to the city. He had some joints in the 80s, man.
You okay? You belong to the city.
That's
Oh,
yeah,
definitely,
that's my
definitely.
joint too.
I liked when
Yeah,
Jay Z used that sample.
yeah. He had like 6 Grammys for those songs. You know. I
Meanwhile,
thought this. Uh,
meanwhile, some other artists didn't get Grammys in the '80s. That's all I'm gonna say.
hey man, hey, even in the 90s they screwed over Mariah. That's one of the
Right,
biggest Grammy robberies ever
right.
for Daydream. She got 13 nominations. She didn't get shit. How? You know.
Hootie, Hootie and the Bluefish won the award. Really?
They're not R&B though. Like I was expecting Mariah to get all those awards. She ain't getting none. She got dressed up for that event. Like you go home empty handed and thinking that you're gonna win in the major categories, and they don't give you nothing. You know. This song they also played in the movie, like that scene where like the whole city is going haywire. Yanish had already kidnapped little Oscar and brought him back to Vigo. Vigo is attempting to make his transformation before the clock strikes 12 on New Year's. So this is like that part in the film. You see like the ooze seeping out of the underground subway and into the streets, and there's chaos and people are screaming their heads off and goats appearing, and they play this song. So I like the song Flip City. You know, it's not one of my favorite Glenn Fry songs compared to his 80s stuff, but it was good.
Definitely. I and the last song is called "Higher and Higher" from Howard Hunsberry. This is actually a cover of the Jackie Wilson song "Higher, Higher and
Yeah.
Higher."
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? A song. I mean, a song. Not only one of my favorites from Jackie
Right,
Wilson. You know what I'm saying? I kind of preferred his late 50s, early 60s shit.
right.
You know what I'm saying? That was like his cover. That's his comeback song. But I
Mm,
don't dislike. I'm not going to dislike the song all the way through. But still,
yep.
I mean, yeah. It was. I mean, that's alright.
Another song they played in the film when the Ghostbusters they needed something to
But they
break.
had nah. Something just fell down. Like you talking.
They went. This is when they attempted to go to you know they attempted I'm trying to word it like to bring the Statue of Liberty to life, which sounds
Yeah.
ridiculous when you see it. But they needed the Statue of Liberty because it was like it symbolized New York. You know, like when you had the Empire State Building, the Statue of Liberty. At one point, we had the World Trade Towers. That's no longer here. But the Statue of Liberty symbolizes New York, and they needed something to symbolize New York City, and just trying to break through the museum, the art museum, and rescue Dana because Dana had actually took Oscar. Um, well, actually, she didn't take Oscar. She went to save Oscar to bring him back home from Giannis and Vigo, but she got trapped there because Vigo ended up, keeping her there and holding her hostage. And the Ghostbusters went to free her, but he had like it was like a shell of like ooze, like that same ooze that was in the subway station. He had like that ooze surrounding the whole museum, and they couldn't break it, so they had to figure a way in. They had to figure a way in to the museum, and they ended up using some of that. Ray had made like some. He turned the ooze into like happy ooze or something. like if you got sprayed with the ooze, it made you with happy feelings and stuff. So
Yeah.
he made like a ooze like shooter and was spraying it. Him and Winston was spraying it all over the Statue of Liberty, and it brought the Statue of Liberty to life, where they could actually move it, and it went through the Hudson River and onto the streets of New York City with the Statue of Liberty, and that was their way of breaking through that shell of ooze and to rescue Dana and Oscar. So they played this song while they were doing that in the Statue of Liberty.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Um. So would you say it's just as good as the original version of the song, or no?
Yeah, I think it was. I mean, if you close your eyes and listen, you could be, you don't even really tell it's Howard Huntsberry. You could it sound like Jackie Wilson, you know. Um, and they used it in the right scene too, like higher and higher. They were walking through the streets of New York City in the Statue of Liberty. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I just thought it was like good song placement, for the film at that time.
Respect. Respect. All right. So overall, very dope soundtrack, in my opinion. Pretty much better than the first soundtrack, which wasn't bad, but I feel like this one had a bit more variety.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think this had like a lot more R&B and New Jack Swing and shit like that. So I'm gonna give the soundtrack a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, I loved it. Just the fact that we got a Ghostbusters soundtrack that was very different from the first one, and we had some of the you know hottest artists in hip hop and R&B, Bobby Brown and New Edition, Dougie Fresh, and Run DMC. I just that's the reason why I bought it, because I'm like, yo, these are actual all artists that I listen to, and we got Elton John on here and Glenn Fry, so I think it's a great soundtrack. I'm gonna give it 4.5. I would have liked to see them release more singles, even though they didn't do that. It was mainly about Bobby Brown. He had the classic Don't Be Cruel album out at that time, and it was all about him. And he had a cameo, so I get it. But I would have liked to see, them release the Run DMC song as a single, and the New Edition song, the Dougie Fresh song, even the Glenn Fry song, because all of these songs are actually played in the film. You know what I'm saying? And usually with a soundtrack, they might play like one or two songs within the movie, but they played like almost every song on the soundtrack, either within in the film or like in the closing credits. So I think it's a great soundtrack.
Definitely. All right. Oh, Ice Cube just dropped a new song.
Yeah,
Okay.
he got a new video out.
I gotta check this out.
Don Mega.
Yeah, this does. I've seen the thumbnails. Like this does
Yeah.
kind of look like Don. Like I was
All
like,
right.
yeah,
Please,
if this is
please
an
don't go
album,
back to that alter ego because that he
nah,
was making it
please,
worse than them.
please.
Nah,
But yeah, we were just doing an Ice Cube video yesterday. Okay.
right.
All right, so I'm gonna actually end this off right here because it's been a long day, and I just want to watch some TV shows and some movies for the rest of the night.
All right.
But this has been definitely a fun ass video. So I know I said I was going to do the real Ghostbusters next week, but I'm gonna push that back for the week of Halloween
Okay.
because I didn't realize the second season had like 65 episodes. I hated one of these shows back in the day. They'll have one season a standard number, then one other season they'll have like 30 or 40 episodes. I'm like, what the fuck?
Right. Well, I mean, do you need to look at all 65 episodes to review this season?
Well, it's more than 65 episodes, but I'm watching a handful of episodes though.
Right.
Just like the popular ones, the ones I haven't seen in years, so I can get a
Yeah.
good idea of what the show looks sound like. Because I
Right.
haven't seen the show in years. It just came back to TV recently
Yeah.
and shit like that. So that was back in when Dick Entertainment. Is it Dick or Deke?
This stick with Deke.
Deke. Okay, I thought it was all these. I thought it was Dick Entertainment. I'm like, that's a weird animation company, Dick Entertainment. That
Right.
sounds like a porn company, but
Right.
now it makes Deke. Okay, but yeah, but plus I know the week of Halloween
Mm,
and stuff like that. That's like my birthday weekend too, so I'm not really gonna do that many videos.
right.
Like these upcoming weeks, like these next weekends, I'm not only gonna be here like that. So just letting y'all know. But yeah, um, definitely, Kathy. Next week we're gonna do Frozen's next week, or
No, we gotta do Afterlife. That's the next one.
what's the one with? I was trying to do one with all the original cast. I'm not trying to do like the.
Well, it's both of them. Well, Frozen Empire is the last one that came up, but Empire is Afterlife is the third sequel.
So we can do Afterlife next. Okay.
Unless you, I mean, you are you covering the reboot too, the one with the all female cast?
Hell no.
Okay,
Hell
so
no.
yeah, so then Afterlife is the third sequel, and then Frozen Empire.
Okay, so we'll do Afterlife then. We'll do Frozen Empire. Some
Oh,
probably.
it's Deke. It's Ray says Deke. Okay,
Yeah, Deke. Okay.
yeah.
All these years I thought was Dick. Oh shit! I was like, who made this company? Dan Schneider. Okay.
Man.
But yeah, man. So definitely can't wait to talk about that. Also, I think this Sunday, I'm gonna get my schedule. But I feel like I'm doing a video this Sunday, the other 8 Ball MJG, on top of the world from
Okay.
'95, which that's gonna be very dope.
What time is that?
I'll let you know, but it might be Sunday night.
Cool.
But anything you want to say before we head out?
Yes, I just got a package in the mail like yesterday now from the homie Daryl D. I did a live stream with him about comics, and he sent me a care package with different comics and stickers and stuff. So I'm gonna do an unboxing video, 5 minutes, maybe 5-10 minutes, and then drop that tomorrow. And then I'm gonna do like a horror trash review, my first horror trash review on my channel. That'll be maybe Saturday or Sunday. I'll drop that.
I
So
got you.
I don't do trash reviews, but this movie was bad. I'm like, since I got the Blu-ray, let me do a review on it.
Mm. Okay. Yeah. By the way, did you? What did you think of the? Don't say it out loud. What did you think of the costume I sent you last night and shit?
Oh man, yeah. Oh, and you're wearing makeup with that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. I want to see how you pull this one off because you always pull off your costumes. I want to see how you pull this one off. This is gonna be interesting.
Oh yeah. Yeah, man. I'm surprised it fit. Like
You
I'm
look like
surprised
a part of the you look like a part of the what's that group
the Justice
the
League.
huh
The Justice League.
no that's just the other group the Watchmen. You look like a part of the Watchmen. I want to see how you
Uh,
pull this off with the makeup and everything. That's going to be really interesting.
uh,
You know,
well, this has been a fun ass video. Shout out to Mike again,
yeah.
and I hope everyone has a wonderful, wonderful night. Peace.